Good morning. This is Rashad Mitchell. Coming to you live from my YouTube channel. Like to you in my part series, the week that was college football history and review. The 1985 college football season. This is the new season I'm going to be talking about moving forward, dealing with the 1985 season of college football. The overview is going to be talked about, milestones, stuff like that. The preseason top 20 um, in the first week of the season. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the 1985 season of college football, the overview, the year of back to basics after Aikman's knockout, close Heisman shave, and Eddie winning his 324th. Back in 1982, Oklahoma's big shot running back recruit Marcus Dupree sufficiently turned coach Barry Switzer's head to prompt experimentation with Dupree as featured back in a power eye attack. Dupree had a remarkably short career, but the Sooners soon adapted their offensive scheme to the skills of another talented newcomer, quarterback Troy Aikman, who was possibly the best passer ever recruited to Northern. There was every reason to believe Oklahoma was entering a new era, as Aikman was named starter for 1985. But Aikman was knocked out for the season, the fourth game, and Switzer had little choice but to return full-time to the basic wishbone offense, with which the Sooners had become the scourge of college football in the 1970s. With gifted 5'9" quarterback Jamel Holloway at the helm, the Sooners took off on a 500-yard offensive clip of old, and thanks also to the explosive defense led by All-America linebacker Tony Casillas and Kevin Murphy and linebacker Brian Bosworth, opponents began to fall. A surprisingly easy win over Nebraska thrust them into an Orange Bowl showdown with undefeated Penn State. The Lions' rugged defense gave Oklahoma a tough time for a while in the bowl game before succumbing by 25-10. Next to Tennessee, routing second-ranked Miami in the second Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma's sixth national championship became the first championship claimed by Associated Press, preseason number one team since Oklahoma turned the trick in 1978. Meanwhile, Aikman was on the mend, but had become all but forgotten. He transferred to UCLA after the season and when he became an instant passing star for the Bruins in 1987. He qualified as perhaps the greatest college player ever to transfer from one major school to another. Miami was the Sooners' only master, as it inflicted the only regular season defeat on Oklahoma for each of the next 3 years. The Hurricanes' use of a high-octane passing attack featuring quarterback Vinny Testaverde to complement a speedy defense seemed like kryptonite to Oklahoma Superman. It was all the more intriguing that Miami was coached by Brash Jimmy Johnson, a friend of Switzer's from their days together at Arkansas. Standing in contrast to the perceived win at all costs philosophy of Switzer and Johnson was Penn State coach Joe Paterno, who celebrated his 20th season as head man at State College. With his fifth perfect regular season, his Lions were not flashy, attracted low level attention, and seemed to like it that way. Meanwhile, as the race for the national title went down to the wire, so too did the battle for the Heisman Trophy. Magnificent Auburn tailback Bo Jackson edged the sharp passing Iowa quarterback Chuck Long by 45 points to win the closest vote ever by New York's Downtown Athletic Club. Jackson won his South region while also grabbing the Mid-Atlantic Southwest. Long was first in the Midwest, Northeast, and West regions. Each had flashy numbers, but Jackson shaved Long despite his missing time with injuries and lost to Tennessee and Florida. He also lost the national rushing crown to Lorenzo White of Michigan State by 1,908 to 1,786. The Heisman previous Titans race had come in 1961 when Syracuse's halfback Ernie Davis edged Iowa State fullback Bob Ferguson by 53 points. Long's heady career signaled a new era of Big Ten play. Long, Jack Trudeau of Illinois, Jim Everett, Purdue, Jim Harbaugh of Michigan, and Jim Casales of Ohio State all had big years throwing the ball in the conference made famous by its power football of olden days. That Illinois Purdue would have good passes was to be expected. It was surprising to see the Wolverines Harbaugh lead the nation in passing efficiency with Long third and Casales fourth. The injured foot that ruined most running back Keith Byers' season along the Buckeyes passing game to edge the rushers in yards. Something that would have been unthinkable in Ohio State program of the past. Now, as for Long, he led Iowa to the Hawkeyes' first number one ranking since 1961. They held the top spot for 5 weeks, beginning on September 30th and into the Rose Bowl, where their hopes for national title consideration were dashed by UCLA. The Southeastern Conference may not have turned past crazy, but it featured a wild race that ended with Tennessee and Florida tied for first place with 5-1 records. Although Tennessee lost to the Gators, it was awarded the conference crown due to probation that shackled Florida. The Sugar Bowl appearance was the first for the Tigers since 1970. Euphoria over the SEC title, subsequent 35-10 pace of Miami was lost in January of 1986 when talented quarterback Tony Robinson was busted on drug charges. Steroids continue to dominate headlines with Southern schools like Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Clemson, or many dealing with the problem. The investigation at Clemson began after the drug-related death of Augustinus Jaspers of the Tigers track team. On a more positive note in the South, Eddie Robinson, who began coaching at Grambling in 1941, finished the season with a 320, 106, and 15 mark. 3 wins showed Bear Bryant's record total. Now, Robinson, the son of a sharecropper, tied Bryant's career mark with a 23-6 win over Oregon State on September 28th. Then 1 week later, he passed Bryant with a 27-7 win over Prairie View A&M, with a legacy that included a 95% graduation rate. Former players dotting both the rosters of the NFL National Honor Roll. Robinson finished the season with 329 wins, was showered with well-deserved national attention. Of course, a scant number of his victories were recorded over Division I-A competition, so Bryant remained in the coach pantheon for subsequent assaults by Paterno and Bobby Bowden. One coach was on the other end of the victory spectrum, Jerry Faust, Mr. Nice Guy of Notre Dame, in his short run with a crushing 58-7 rout administered by Miami. Faust finished with a 30, 26-1 record with the Fighting Irish, losing more games in 5 seasons than had been visited upon legends Newt Brockman and Frank Leahy in a combined 24-6. George Welsh, Jack Bicknell, Don Shula, Dick Vermeil, Jim Young, Howard Schnellenberger, Terry Donahue, all were mentioned as candidates to replace Faust before Lou Holtz got the job one day after Faust resigned on November 26. Schnellenberger was busy trying to rebuild at Louisville. The Cardinals dropped their opening 52-13 to West Virginia, and things got no better. The pipe-smoking coach of Miami's 1983 national champions would never approach the same success as Louisville or at any of his future stops, which briefly would include Oklahoma. The Southwest Conference continued on a path to self-destruction as NCAA capped a 29-month investigation of preseason number 3, Southern Methodist, by levying severe reductions in school scholarships, denial of television money, limitations of eligibility for both conference titles and bowl games. The Mustangs' juiciest rule violation was cash payoffs to players of up to $11,000. The severity of the punishment was due to a repeated pattern of wrongdoing. SMU had been penalized 4 times in 11 years. Had been found guilty of infractions during 11 or 14 years. During the season where it broke up sugar daddies, taking care of Texas A&M players. TCU coach Jim Wacker suspended 7 players, including star running back Kenneth Davis, for accepting cash payments while being recruited during the days of past coach F.A. Dry. Davis lost a lawsuit to try to immediately turn professional. The service academies had up and down seasons as Air Force finished 8th in the final poll, while Army won 9 games for the first time since 1949. Navy, who was held back by injuries that slowed started back Napoleon McCallum. Navy beat Army. However, McCallum finished his illustrious career with 7,172 all-purpose yards. Finished 7th in Heisman balloting. A horrible accident at the Citadel occurred when linebacker Mark Bonaconte, son of former NFL star Nick, was paralyzed while making a tackle. Mark and Nick soon launched the Miami Project to cure paralysis. Since then, have raised millions of dollars to help fund medical research for paralyzed people of all sorts. Milestones. Lando's Downtown Athletic Club created an annual Buckus Award to the nation's best linebacker. For the first time, NCAA allowed players to insure themselves from injury. The rules committee changes. Pass blocking was liberalized to allow better protection of quarterbacks. Denver judge invoked separation of church and state laws to restrict Colorado coach Bill McCarthy's ability to lead pre-game prayers as he was considered to be a state employee. The former Notre Dame star Paul Hornung won a $1.16 million lawsuit against NCAA, refused to allow him to work as broadcaster for TBS, WTBS in 1982 and 1983 due to his promotional ties to gambling services and beer companies. All right, that's some of the milestones. Let's get into the longest win streaks entering the 1985 season. You had Brigham Young, 24-game winning streak, Florida 9-game winning streak. You had Maryland 7-game winning streak. Coaching changes for the incoming coaches: Arizona State, John Cooper; Ball State, Paul Squidell; East Carolina, Art Baker; Louisville, Howard Snellenberger; Missouri, Woody Weidenhofer; Northern Illinois, Jerry Pettibone; Oregon State, Dave Crackthorpe; Mac Brown, Tulane; Jim Fossil, Utah. Here was the preseason AP poll for 1985. Number 20 was UCLA, 19 Florida State, 18 Penn State, 17 South Carolina, 16 Oklahoma State, 15 Arkansas, 14 Notre Dame, 13 Louisiana State, 12 Washington, 11 Illinois. The top 10 looked like this: number 10 Brigham Young, 9 Nebraska, 8 Ohio State, 7 Maryland, 6 Southern California. The top 5 was number 5 Florida, 4 Iowa, 3 Southern Methodist, 2 Auburn, and number 1 Oklahoma. Let's start at August 31st, 1985. That's where everything got underway. August 31st, 1985. So on a Thursday, Brigham Young, the number 10 team in the country, beat Boston College 28-14 in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cougars won their 25th straight game in Kickoff Classic as quarterback Robbie Bosco. Robbie Bosco completed 35 of 53 for 508 yards, passing 3 touchdowns. BYU wide receiver Glenn Kozlowski had 241 yards receiving on 10 catches and a touchdown. Made play of the game with backward falling 40-yard catch to set up a second touchdown. Boston College drove 80 yards to tie, scored 14-14 third quarter. On 5 yards touchdown run by tailback Troy Stratford. At the tray of turnovers, Bosco fired a 51-yard pass to Kozlowski to set up 12-yard toss to our receiver Mark Bellini. He had 9 catches for 111 yards for winning touchdowns. Eagles defense had 4 interceptions. Nose guard Mike Roof ignored double teams to make 4 sacks, 8 tackles, and an interception. Quarterback Boston College Sean Halloran threw for 165 yards with 3 interceptions in starting debut. Now, the game marked the 4th year the Eagles had met a defending champion national championship team. They tied Clemson in 1982, knocked off Penn State in 1983, and Miami in 1984. Pittsburgh defeated Purdue 31-30. Purdue came also close, 49 seconds left. Quarterback Jim Effort completed a desperation pass to fullback Ray Wallace for a 31-yard touchdown pass to pull Boilermakers to within 31-30. Purdue opted to try for a win. Running play left, tight end Jack Berry opened the end zone. Effort threw low pass into turf, ending at any chance of a victory. Quarterback John Kajimi threw 2 touchdown passes and helping Pitt build a 21-10 halftime lead. That was erased when Everett threw 2 touchdown passes in the third quarter. Panthers regained lead as tailback Charles Gladman, who ran for 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 24 carries, ran for 10-yard touchdown. And kicker Mark Brasco booted a 43-yard field goal that proved to be a game winner. Next, we got Oregon against Washington State, where Washington State lost to Oregon 42-39. The Ducks unleashed quack attack as quarterback Chris Miller threw for 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tailback Tony Sherry ran for 143 yards and a touchdown, while receiver Luke Barnes caught 8 passes for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oregon defense held tailback Ruben Mays, who had tattooed it for NCAA record 357 yards rushing, and 1984 to comparably poultry 84 yards. Ducks focused on ground defense. Cougars went to air as quarterback Mark Rippon threw for 21 for 38 for 403 yards, 4 touchdowns. But Mark Rippon, also lost 3 fumbles, including a pair that set up Oregon touchdowns, including winning 5-yard pass to tight end Bobby D. Bishop. 6:46 left to play. On a Monday, Alabama beat Georgia 20-16. Now it looked like Georgia had a stolen late win as linebacker Terry Webster blocked punt of Alabama punter Chris Moore, which was recovered by defensive end Cal Ruff in his zone for go-ahead touchdown with 50 seconds left. Suddenly, Crimson Tide quarterback Mike Schuler, who had thrown for 65 yards to that moment, directed 71-yard drive without timeouts to stun Stanford Stadium faithful. I think Stanford Stadium shouldn't be Stanford Stadium. But anyway, after missing first pass, Schuler hit wide receivers Greg Richardson, Albert Bell with 3 passes for 54 yards that took Bama to the Georgia 29-yard line with 20 seconds left. Schuler soon avoided blitz to hit Bell over middle for winning 17-yard touchdown. Top 3 quarterbacks hobbled with injuries. Freshman quarterback Wayne Johnson had directed Bulldogs' sole touchdown drive, throwing 11-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Jimmy Hockaday to pull Georgia to within 13-9 with 4:21 left. So that concludes a look at Week 1. College Football History Review, the 1985 college football season of August 31st. Let's get into the AP poll for September 3rd. We got UCLA at number 20, number 19 Penn State, 18 South Carolina, 17 Florida State, 16 Oklahoma State, 15 Arkansas, 14 Notre Dame, 13 Louisiana State, 12 Washington, 11 Illinois. Top 10, number 10 Nebraska, 9 Ohio State, 8 Brigham Young, 7 Maryland, 6 Southern California, number 5 Florida, number 4 Iowa, 7 Methodist, 3 Auburn, number 2, and number 1 Oklahoma. So includes a look at that. College Football History Review, the overview of the 1985 college football season for Week 1 for August 31st. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. Do Week 2, September 7th, 1985. Please like, subscribe, comment on the channel. Do a video of this magnitude tomorrow. Until then, talk to you soon.